Welcome back to Mark Haney, igniting the entrepreneurial revolution with the HaneyBiz Project.
Welcome back to the HaneyBiz Project, brought to you courtesy of Hub International. I'm Mark Haney, and today I am joined by the president of California State University, Sacramento, Dr. Robert Nelsen. But he said, don't call me doctor, but the doctor is in the house. Robert, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. That was a great segment with Dale Carlson.
Oh, wow. This is like my dream show of two studs who make these huge impacts everywhere that they go. What drives Robert Nelsen today?
My students. Having
kids.
My students, the kids, having them be successful, watching them grow, watching them change, watching them become entrepreneurs, watching them graduate. Just being with them. They're just amazing.
It is, they're tomorrow's leaders, and a lot of those are leading today as well. And I was just thinking about, you've been on the show before, and when you first came on, I was a little bit greener then than I am today. But, I noticed something, that you started at Sac State University in July of 2015. That's the same time frame, same month that I started my radio career. I think you've made one heck of an impact at Sac State since you've been there. Or tell us about what's happened since you got there.
Well, you got on iHeartRadio, so you did all right yourself, right?
Well, I appreciate that.
Okay. It's been amazing since we've been there. We came and we knew that we had a problem with graduation rates. I can tell you that this year we changed the graduation rates. It's not going to blow you away, but it's 50% better.
Wow.
From 8% to 12%.
That's
in 1 year.
That's blowing me away.
Okay. Next year it'll be 16, and we'll just keep moving it forward. We're seeing 6,000 students graduating. It's just wonderful what we're doing at Sac State.
Well, who are the students? You've referred to them as your kids. The first time I met you, you were so warm in talking about the students as your kids. And I'm like, who are the students of Sac State today?
Well, you've got to figure that over half of them are first generation. They're the first ones in their family to go to college. Over half of them come from families that are making under $38,000 a year.
Wow.
They're being lifted out
the
of
lower
that
income
low-income
people are much of your students.
But we've produced over 220,000 alumni in this area, okay? So those are the fathers and mothers, and those are the success stories that are out there, and every one of our students is a success story.
Well, I mean, you and I ran into each other in Washington, D.C. on something we were doing to promote leadership here in the Sacramento area to Washington. And you were going to break some news that had to do with this was back in February, March, that had to do with really doing something big in your athletic department. Tell us what that was, and how has it made any kind of change?
We hired a new athletic director, Mark Orr. He's a third-generation Sacramentan. He played in the Holy Bowl. He played at Cal.
Yes.
He had been an AD down in a university that I'm not going to mention because I'm proud to have him here, and I don't want to give them a plug right now.
Yes.
But he came in, he brought professionalism. Our women's volleyball team won the Big Sky. Wow. Our men's had the best winning record they have had in Division I in the history of Sacramento State.
Are you talking about volleyball, or are you talking about football?
I'm talking football now.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You guys had a good football team this year. You guys beat UC Davis, and you had a winning record. I mean, incredible.
It was a great game. It was really a great game. Anytime we score 50 points or more, I'm happy.
Yeah, no doubt. So your athletic department is definitely resurging. But thinking about leadership, because, I mean, you think about an organization like Sacramento State University. I mean, it's enormous. And you heard me talking a little bit about the leadership pipeline and where you sort of get your chops as you're coming up through the ranks. I mean, where did you learn leadership?
I was very lucky. I had a couple presidents who I made mad.
Okay.
And they decided they needed to teach me how to lead.
Perfect.
And so I was a faculty brat in some ways, and I thought I knew everything. And they came along and showed me that I didn't know everything, and they asked me to come under their wing, and it worked.
Yeah, so you had some specific people that were mentoring you. What would you say to those people today?
hey, I turned out all right.
Look at me now. Just like Dale
So I
Carlson.
think
Dad,
they'd become
how do you
a-
like me now, Dad? And that's, so often I think in life there's these mentors, there's these people that are in our lives and we don't know at the time, right? These guys may be mad at you. You don't realize at the time what kind of impact they can make on you. And I have to think that Sac State has that same thing, right? You got your teachers and then, 10, 20, 30 years later, you're like, you know what? Sac State really made a difference in my life.
They do, and that's part of the reason why we have athletics, is so we can get them back on campus so that they can be part of the university and part of that. But all the time, we have people who are giving back. I mean, we raised over $26 million this year.
Wow.
We're doubling the number of scholarships that we give out, and that's because alumni are giving back to Sac State because they care about Sac State.
And they believe in Sac State. They know firsthand what kind of difference the right education can make in our lives. And I'm kind of a school of hard knocks guy, but I mean, Sac State has done so much for developing leaders in my hometown. I mean, how do we say thank you to you? I guess we donate. We write a check. We support the football team, right? I mean, how do we help you?
You help us by supporting our students. Anything you can do for them will help. Dale Carlson made it Sac State, okay?
Yeah, that's amazing.
That is an important thing to remember. Leaders like he are out there, and they're helping us, and everyone can give back. We just had Giving Tuesday just this week. We raised over $300,000.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
Amazing. Now, the first time I met you, the other thing that you told me was that you had 302 meals that you shared with your constituents, your potential donors, if you will. That's a lot in 1 year, right? In 1 year, you tracked the number of meals that you ate out, I assume, or maybe in the cafeteria at the school. But I mean, that's a lot of. I mean, you're a slim guy. You're not a heavy guy. That's a lot of eating.
I put on 28 pounds, okay?
Wow.
Somebody would say I got a beer gut. It's actually a lunch gut.
I mean, that's leading by example. You think about like what goes into becoming a great leader. I mean, one of the things that we hear countless, and you're proof of this, is leading by example, right? You're out there talking to those people who are helping you to build the best school possible.
Well, I have to tell Sac State's story. And it's an easy story to tell because you can tell it one student at a time. You can talk about a foster student who has actually gone on and become successful. The other day we had Thanksgiving. We had 7 foster students over there, what we call our guardian scholars. They're going to go on to be leaders because of people like Dale Carlson, who've given over $250,000 just to the Guardian Scholar Program to help those students come forward.
Yeah, and you guys do so much. We talk about building leaders. We talk about turning lives around. The foster kids, a lot of times, they get off to a rocky start, but they can turn it around. And thinking about just what that means in terms of business, right? We're an entrepreneurial show. This show's about helping the next guy in line in terms of entrepreneurship. Talk to us briefly about what's going on in the business world that is really going to shape entrepreneurship at Sac State.
Well, the world is changing, okay? The big box realtors, that's not really going to remain the same.
Yeah.
And it's the small businesses that make a difference, and the small businesses that grow into bigger businesses, and not mom and pop. I'm talking technology. I'm talking arts. I'm talking all of those types of ventures.
Doesn't it seem like, and I've felt this from being, having the radio show and being an entrepreneur myself, that entrepreneurship is kind of becoming cool. It's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? You're hearing baseball player, football player. I'd like to be like Dale Carlson, right? I mean, don't people dream about having their own business and maybe taking a run at becoming something super successful in business?
I know students who are now on their 3rd or 4th business that they've created at this point, okay?
Wow.
It used to be that you took a job and you stayed at that job forever. Now you want to take a job, or you create your own job, and you create another job, and then you create another job, and then you create another job, and you just keep building it and building it. They want to make a difference in this world. They want to have something that they care about. They just don't want to go punch a clock anymore.
Times are changing, but some things will never change. We all want to make a difference, and you're figuring out a way to help guide that next generation of leaders at Sacramento State University. When we come back, we're going to ask Robert to stick around. We're going to bring back in Dale Carlson, and we're going to share one of the most generous gifts to our town that I have ever heard of, the most that I have ever heard of, when Dale Carlson comes back in just a minute. This is the HaneyBiz Project.